Hello, YouTube. I am your Knife Blade Presents, and I am going to review the M83 shoegazing album, Dead Ghost, Red Cities, and Lost Seas, or is it Red Seas, Dead Ghosts, or Lost Cities? Red Cities, Dead Ghosts, and Lost. Watch. That. Dead Cities, Red Seas, and Lost Ghosts. So my grandparents were nice enough to give me a new M83 album for Christmas, along with Saturday Sequels Youth, which I might review later. I like the album's design as such, and ignore that little red light. It's just a distant UFO. And unfortunately, I broke it because I'm an idiot. But, I like it. I love this album's art. It's very nostalgic, lonely. I love the highway. It's a nice touch. I almost barely notice it, Those four people almost feel like they're, like, the only people in the world. And I only have one CD. There's a bonus CD, but I did not get this. If you look closely, I hate it when DVDs do this, when they like try to blend two colors into each other. You need like some infrared camera to see it. But look, M83 and a bunch of other copyright stuff I don't understand. And then there's this little tablet which goes through all the credits, and that's actually all about there is. It's very minimalism, etc. Which usually M83 does. They usually blend very complex stuff with minimalism, and it just perfectly, this album art and overall design perfectly suits M83.
On to the songs. We open up with Birds. I don't know what this really even has to do with this album. It's like they kind of just toss it in there. It kind of misses. It kind of misses into the feeling of the album. Kind of doesn't. It's just a surreal opening, and it's 53 seconds long. On my computer, it's not even a megabyte in size. It sounds like this broken song, almost like some recording error, with this robotic voice saying, "The birds are singing, I am flying, meow 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 meow, meow meow meow." And I mean, I know that M83 uses this really surreal song sometimes, and like bridges and such, like in the Hurry Up We're Dreaming album they had Train to Pluton between halfway through the album, or Fountains on disc 2. Before the Dawn's Healers literally had a song called Car Chase Terror. Yes, I am serious, they did. But it's kind of weird. It's just fun to listen to just because how hard it is, but I'm not sure what it really has to do with with this album's meaning. I guess it's just something they kind of tossed in there. I don't know. Then our next song is our ironically titled Unrecorded, which I don't really understand what it means, but maybe unrecorded moments of life. I don't know. It's a somewhat decent shoegaze at the beginning, but then it advances something more surreal with a distorted guitar, I guess. It kind of reminds me of a sad robot wondering if he's human or not, something like that. And the meaning is overall hazy, but this is a real surreal album, so what can I really expect from it? I've noted also the very heavy synth sounds, but that's fairly common in a lot of his music, almost. He loves synths. It's this synth fetish. You know what I mean? But I guess I could appreciate it for being a somewhat decent shoegaze song. I didn't care for Running to Flowers. I don't know what's up with it. Had very heavy drum beats, which didn't really match the synths that well. I don't feel like they had much to it. It's just me. But at least the music video was interesting. Then we move into the next song called In Church, and this is when the album gets really good. I love the use of this organ, and it really starts at like an upbeat song, but then it shifts into something more sad, more solemn. This feels like something personal to Anthony Gonzalez, however you spell his name, like maybe like any experiences with religions, probably when he was a kid. Maybe he attended a funeral of someone he loved, or maybe a wedding, and when you just kind of stare into this awe of a Catholic church or some Orthodox branch, I don't know what they have in France, and you see all these wondrous graven images, so old and weird and frightening and beautiful, and it creates this very melancholy feeling to him, and that's how it made me feel. I thought it was a pretty good song, and I think its meaning does feel more powerful. America is a pretty interesting song, not just because I live in America, but I really like these audio samples, which have interesting history about it, from the 1973 horror drama psychological thriller film that I haven't seen called Don't Look Now. People usually regard this movie as a very haunting but beautiful and very well shot experience, and it's really about this, I think it's about this film about this couple who go to Venice and discover two mediums that claim to see their long dead daughter, and it really is them debating whether she's really there or not, and it's kind of sad that and sometimes you have to let go of that kind of stuff. And I felt almost unnerved listening to this song because it's words that describe that it triggers words, feelings that you can't place your finger on, which M83 usually proves itself very capable of doing. Imagine yourself on a white lake near Green Mountain. Yes, that's the name of the sixth song on the album. I really love the shoegazing here. It's very desolate, it's very sad, it's very melancholy. I love it too. it really does actually trigger imagery in your head. It's almost a very visual song, I like to say, with just a rather simple description. You're on a snowy white lake, I think, and you kind of look up this mountain standing before you like it's some kind of hope. I don't know, maybe you're in a zombie apocalypse. That's where the vaccine is. I don't know. It's fun to go, like, your match to go in places. Maybe it's some type of war or the end of the world. Maybe something bad happened to you. It's a very relatable song that kind of understands you as well. And the wind, you can hear the wind blowing. You can feel the desolation. You can feel your loneliness in this song. And it took every single advantage of my headphones, and I thought it was probably one of the best songs on this track, on this album. Almost best song. The songs Be Wild and Cyborg, they're okay. Cyborg's a good retro melody. Be Wild's a bit boring in the beginning, but gets more interesting around the end and becomes nostalgic. But Be Wild is one of my favorite tracks. What I did really like, and I keep on replaying myself, is 0078H. I have no idea what that means, but it's surprisingly good. I love these remixed vocals, and it's very catchy. It's very upbeat, and I'd like to use it one day in any of my film projects. I like the robot feeling to it, or maybe some type of alien feeling to it, and I thought it just was a really cool song. Gone is indescribably beautiful and amazing. It's lonely, desolate, as I've repeated several times before in this review. But the violins are amazing. They're like on par with the vocals in Church, and it sounds really unique compared to the other tracks in this album, and it almost matches Beauties Can Die. Beauties Can Die is my favorite track on this album, and it is the last one too in this album. And a lot of M83's music, they tend to have very epic outros. I mean, a lot of M83's albums, they have a lot of structure to them. If you've noticed that in Hurry Up Regime they had a brother-sister relationship, Saturdays Equals Youth seem to chronologically represent stages of being a teenager. Before the Dawns Heals Us had a lot of good transitions in it, etc., etc. Beauties Can Die is our final climax, and it is a whooping 14 minutes long. Despite there's like 2 or 3 minutes of silence in there, it's still a pretty long song, and it deserves to be a pretty long song. And the beginning melody is majestic and brings you back to childhood, remembering all those, like, a lot of these fond memories, these memories I had and enjoyed, and things I spent really fast, too fast, and exploring with my friends and doing stuff I loved when I was a kid, and everything was simple. And my only job was to have fun and not get in trouble with my parents. And then the song begins to pan out, and I remember, and this stuff starts to fade, and eventually it's almost unhearable. Goes down to this really dull ring, into this loneliness, as I've repeated several times before, until it's completely silent. Then it's gone. You think that the track is over, and a lot of people, if you're listening to this in the car, you just might as well pop the CD out then. And then the outro comes in, which is far more dramatic than melancholy. I'd say it's the part of your life when you're an adult, when you look back on your childhood and just wondering where those years have gone, and all those, and it reminds you that beauties can die. Good things don't last forever, so enjoy them while you can. Final thoughts. I'm not a super fan of shoegaze or M83's work. I mean, they're pretty good and nostalgic. I like nostalgic stuff, as I said before. But this is probably the best shoegaze I've listened to, and I haven't listened to that much shoegaze, but whatever it is, I just know it's really good. I love this album. I really had a very unique, interesting experience listening to this. It really did provoke a lot of imagery in my head, and while I do like some of M83's other works, such as Hurry Up We're Dreaming or Saturday's Equal Youth, I do appreciate the more artistic, more artsy, I just said that weird, and more insert synonym for art here, artsy stuff, whatever people like to call it. Okay, moving on. I'd say I would give this a 7 out of 10. Even if some of the stuff in this album was really almost annoying, but take the sound, the noise wasn't really impressive, and it's just left me uninterested. Be Wild left me uninterested. Some of this stuff is just not kind of okay. That's just good for you, yeah. But there's so many good tracks on this album, and they're really powerful too, and they really do know how to actually grab the listener's attention. And I think it deserves a 7 out of 10. So, thank you for watching, and please leave a like and subscribe for more reviews. What do you think I should review next? I was thinking maybe Saturday's Equals Youth, but maybe I'm going to look at some other stuff first. Tell me what you think of my review, or what you would give it. And remember, this review is only my opinion. It's okay if you don't like it. What do you think of this? What scoring would you give it? And I hope you have a great day, devoid of birds. Birds.